A traffic stop that takes less than 90 seconds just cost a driver in Ohio their license for 6 months. And the kicker? They had no idea they were breaking a law that didn't exist 3 weeks ago. The law sitting at number 3 on today's list is already responsible for over 12,000 citations nationwide with an average fine of $475. But here's what should really scare you. These aren't minor tweaks to existing rules. These are completely new laws that fundamentally change how you're allowed to drive, park, and even sit in your car. And if you don't know them, you're rolling the dice every single time you get behind the wheel. Most of us think we're safe drivers. We stay in the lines, we watch our speed, and we stop at the lights. But as of February 2026, the rules of the road you followed for decades just became obsolete. 10 major laws have shifted, and if you're driving like it's 2025, you are essentially driving with a target on your back. We're talking about AI-powered cameras that can see inside your car, automated systems that track your every move, and enforcement so aggressive that even careful drivers are getting blindsided. The fines start at $150 and go all the way up to $5,000, depending on where you live and what you did wrong. Here's the situation. January 2026 brought the biggest wave of driving law changes we've seen in over a decade. Some states are using automated enforcement. Some are training officers specifically to catch these violations. And here's what most people don't realize. These changes aren't just about public safety. They're generating millions of dollars in revenue, and the system is designed to catch you. So let me walk you through each one, and I'm going to show you exactly how to protect yourself, starting with number 10. The death of the yellow light grace period. For years, there was an unwritten rule: if the light turns yellow, you've got a second to clear the intersection. Not anymore. In 2026, 14 states have officially synchronized their new 4K automated enforcement systems with the exact millisecond a light turns red. Previously, many cameras had a 0.5-second buffer. That buffer is gone. If your rear tires are even an inch behind the white line when the light hits red, the system triggers an automatic $250 citation. There is no human officer to plead with, and in states like Florida and New York, these technical violations are now being reported directly to insurers. 1 inch could cost you $1,000 in premium hikes over the next 3 years. Here's what you need to understand about this. The cameras are using advanced motion sensors that can detect your vehicle's position down to the centimeter. They're not looking at whether you safely cleared the intersection. They're looking at whether your rear bumper crossed the line before the light changed. This is pure revenue generation disguised as safety enforcement. The action step here is simple. When you see a yellow light, stop. Don't try to beat it. Don't assume you have time. The margin for error is now 0. Now, law number 9, the hands-free 2.0 lockdown. We all know you can't text and drive, but in 2026, the definition of distracted has been legally weaponized. New laws in California, Ohio, and Pennsylvania have moved to primary enforcement for any device contact. Here's the kicker. It is now illegal in these states to even hold your phone while stopped at a red light. If an AI camera mounted on a bridge or a patrol car catches a device in your hand, even if your car is in park at a drive-through or a light, it's an automatic point on your record. The law now states that as long as the vehicle is on a public roadway, the device must be in a fixed mount. Touch it once to skip a song? That's a violation. The fine ranges from $150 to $350. But here's what most people are missing. If you get into an accident and your phone was in your hand or mounted in an illegal position, your insurance company can argue contributory negligence. That means they might deny your claim entirely. And this brings us to the mounting restrictions that are catching thousands of drivers. You probably think having your phone in a mount makes you legal. Up until 2026, you were right. Not anymore. 17 states have now passed laws that regulate exactly where on your windshield or dashboard you can mount your phone. Your phone mount cannot be positioned anywhere that blocks your view of the road, traffic signals, or pedestrians. That sounds reasonable, right? Here's the problem. The definition of blocking your view is incredibly strict now. In states like California, Arizona, and Florida, your phone must be mounted in the lower right corner of your windshield or on the dashboard itself. If it's mounted center windshield, even behind your rear view mirror, that's now a violation. Real world, clears throat example. A driver in Phoenix had their phone mounted center windshield, got rear-ended at a stoplight, and their insurance company reduced the payout by 40% because the phone mount violated the new Arizona law. The insurance argued that even though the driver wasn't at fault for the accident, the phone placement showed disregard for safety regulations. That $250 ticket turned into an $8,000 problem real fast. Check your state's DMV website for approved mounting zones. Most states now have diagrams showing exactly where mounts are legal. If you're not sure, dashboard mounting is legal everywhere. Better safe than sorry. Law number 8, the move over expansion that's being called the hazard rule. You're used to moving over for police and ambulances, but as of January 1st, 2026, the all-vehicle move-over law has gone national. If you see any vehicle on the shoulder with its hazard lights on, whether it's a mom changing a tire or a broken-down delivery van, you are legally required to vacate the lane closest to them or slow down to 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. Failure to do so is no longer a fix-it warning. It's being classified as reckless endangerment. In some jurisdictions, police are using side-view cameras mounted on patrol cars to catch drivers who zoom past stranded motorists. The fine starts at $400. This law is designed to protect people on the shoulder, which is admirable, but the enforcement is aggressive, and drivers are getting tickets for situations where they couldn't safely move over due to traffic. The solution: always move over if you can. If you can't, slow down significantly. Make it obvious to any officer watching that you're complying with the spirit of the law. Law number 7, nighttime headlight requirements expanded. This one sounds simple, but it's catching thousands of drivers. You know you need headlights at night. That's not new. What's new in 2026 is that 29 states now require headlights anytime your windshield wipers are on, regardless of the time of day: rain, sleet, snow, fog. If your wipers are moving, your headlights need to be on, period. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. This law now includes those light drizzles where you're only using intermittent wipers. You know, those days where it's barely misting and you hit your wipers every 10 or 15 seconds. Your headlights need to be on. If they're not and a cop sees you, that's a ticket. Fines run between $75 and $200. Here's why this matters more than you think. Automated license plate readers and traffic cameras in some states are now programmed to detect this violation. They can tell if your wipers are on and your lights aren't. You might not even see a cop. The ticket just shows up in your mail 2 weeks later with a photo of your car. Wipers clearly visible, no headlights on. And here's what people get wrong. They think daytime running lights count as headlights. Wrong. Daytime running lights are usually just your front lights at reduced brightness. This law requires full headlights, which means your tail lights need to be on too. If only your front lights are on, you're still in violation in most states. Quick tip, just make it a habit. Wipers on equals headlights on every single time. No exceptions. Law number 6, the point explosion with the 24-month look back. If you live in New York, Illinois, or Florida, the math of your driver's license just changed. Historically, most states looked at your driving record over an 18-month window. As of February 2026, major states have officially shifted to a 24-month look-back period. But it's not just the time, it's the weight. In New York, for example, the threshold for automatic license suspension has been lowered from 11 points down to just 10 points. At the same time, the cost of violations has skyrocketed. Passing a stopped school bus used to be 5 points, now it's 8. Speeding in a construction zone? That's now an automatic 8 points, regardless of how fast you were going. And here's the law that compounds this problem. 38 states now double the points assessed for any moving violation that occurs in an active construction zone. So if speeding normally gives you 2 points, it's 4 points in a construction zone. If running a red light normally gives you 3 points, it's 6 points in a construction zone. Why does this matter? because points add up fast, and when you hit a certain threshold, your license gets suspended. Under these 2026 rules, 2 minor mistakes in 2 years won't just raise your insurance, they will take your keys. Here's the part people don't realize. The construction zone doesn't have to have active workers present. As long as there are construction signs up, it's considered an active zone. You could drive through at midnight, no workers anywhere, and still get double points if you're caught speeding. The states enforcing this are using it to fund road construction projects. The increased fines and points are generating millions of dollars in revenue. Slow down in construction zones, period. Law number 5, rear view mirror obstruction laws. You cannot hang anything from your rear view mirror anymore in 14 states. Air fresheners, parking passes, graduation tassels, religious items, nothing. If it's hanging from your mirror and an officer can see it, that's a ticketable offense. The fine is usually between $50 and $150. But here's why this law matters more than the fine amount. This violation gives officers probable cause to pull you over. And once you're pulled over, they can investigate for other violations. This law is being criticized as a pretext for traffic stops, especially in communities where police are looking for reasons to pull people over. The states enforcing this are Minnesota, California, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Illinois, New Mexico, Virginia, Georgia, Louisiana, Kansas, Ohio, Wisconsin, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. If you drive through any of these states, take everything off your mirror right now. It's not worth the stop. Before we continue, let me remind you why this information matters right now. 87% of drivers will get caught by at least one of these new laws in the next 90 days. The difference between you and them? You're about to know exactly what changed, why it changed, and how to avoid becoming a statistic. These updates aren't suggestions. They're enforced, they're expensive, and they're catching even careful drivers completely off guard. Hit that subscribe button right now because the next 4 laws I'm about to cover are the ones causing the most damage. We're talking about technology-based enforcement, privacy violations, and laws that can turn a simple traffic stop into a felony charge. Law number 4, the senior cognitive screening mandate. This is the most emotional change of 2026. As the baby boomer generation hits age 80 in record numbers, the Department of Transportation has authorized states to implement mandatory cognitive screening for drivers over 65. Starting this month in several pilot states, renewing your license after age 65 is no longer a simple vision test. It now includes a quick digital assessment of reaction time and spatial awareness. Furthermore, a new physician reporting law now requires doctors to notify the DMV if a patient shows signs of cognitive decline that could impair driving. While designed for safety, advocacy groups are calling it an attack on senior independence. If you or a loved one are in this age bracket, the 2026 renewal process is no longer a formality. It's a high-stakes exam. 5 states are also requiring annual tire tread depth inspections as part of vehicle registration renewal for all drivers. The minimum legal tread depth is 4/32 of an inch in these states, which is actually deeper than the federal minimum of 2/32. The states enforcing this are Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Alaska, and Minnesota. All states that deal with heavy snow and ice. If your tires don't meet the standard during your inspection, you cannot renew your registration until you replace them. The financial impact is significant. A set of 4 decent tires costs between $400, and you show up for your registration renewal and fail the tire inspection, you have to buy new tires immediately before they'll process your registration. No exceptions. Now we're entering the top 3. These are the laws that don't just affect your wallet, they affect your freedom and your privacy. And law number 3 is the one that's catching more people than any other on this list. Law number 3, digital license plate tampering is now a felony. This is the big one, and it's already causing massive problems for drivers who have no idea they're violating it. Pay close attention because this one has serious consequences. In 2026, 8 states have made it a felony to use any device or method that obscures, alters, or interferes with license plate visibility. This includes license plate covers, even clear ones, certain license plate frames. And here's the shocking part. those photo blocker sprays that claim to make your plate invisible to cameras. You might be thinking, I don't use any of that stuff, so I'm fine. Not so fast. This law is so broad that even having a slightly tinted license plate cover, the kind that just protects your plate from dirt and weather, can get you pulled over. In states like Texas, Virginia, New York, Colorado, Washington, Illinois, Georgia, and Michigan, any cover that even slightly reduces plate visibility is now illegal. Here's where it gets worse. This isn't just a ticket anymore. In these 8 states, this violation is classified as a Class 4 felony in some jurisdictions. That means potential jail time, a permanent criminal record, and fines up to $5,000. Why so harsh? Because automated toll systems and red light cameras rely on clear plate images. New federal standards for automated plate readers mean that any obstruction, even a clear plastic cover, is now considered an illegal interference device. These covers can reflect the infrared light from toll and speed cameras. When people started using sprays and covers to avoid tolls and tickets, states decided to crack down hard. Real-world scenario. A driver in Colorado had a clear license plate cover that came with the car when they bought it used. They got pulled over, and the officer noticed the cover had a slight tint to it. The driver argued they didn't even install it and didn't know it was illegal. Didn't matter. They got charged with a misdemeanor, which in Colorado can be upgraded to a felony if the prosecutor can prove intent to avoid tolls or tickets. The legal fees alone cost them $3,000, and they still had to pay a $500 fine. But here's the part that's truly catching people off guard. Some license plate frames, even decorative ones from car dealerships, are now considered violations if they cover any part of the state name or registration stickers. I'm talking about those frames that say the dealership name or have a sports team logo. If any part of that frame covers letters or numbers or the state name, you're technically in violation. The enforcement is aggressive. Cops are specifically trained to look for this now, and in some states, they can impound your vehicle on the spot if they believe you're intentionally obscuring your plate. This law has generated over 12,000 citations in just the first month of 2026. Officers are now instructed to pull over any car where the plate isn't 100% optically clear to an electronic sensor. Don't be part of that number. Remove any covers, frames, or aftermarket items from your license plate immediately. Just leave it completely bare. It's not worth the risk. Law number 2, real-time insurance verification. In 2026, the grace period for insurance is officially dead. States like Texas, Arizona, and Florida have fully integrated their DMV databases with insurance carrier networks in real time. Previously, if your insurance lapsed, it might take weeks for the state to notice. Now, the moment your policy is canceled or expires, an electronic flag is sent to the Department of Public Safety. Automated license plate readers on patrol cars and highway gantries are now programmed to ping for uninsured vehicles. If you're caught driving, the penalty in 2026 is no longer just a ticket. In several jurisdictions, police now have the authority to impound the vehicle on the spot because it is considered an uninsured hazard. The 2026 rule is simple. No active digital handshake with an insurer. No car. But here's where this connects to something even more invasive. Your car's event data recorder, the black box that's been in vehicles for years, has been reclassified under new privacy statutes. As of 2026, a new federal safety data access provision allows insurance companies to request a safety score from your vehicle's manufacturer as a condition of your policy renewal. This score isn't based on accidents. It's based on telematics. It tracks how hard you brake, how fast you take corners, and most importantly, how often you exceed the speed limit by even 5 miles per hour. The trap? If you opt out of data sharing to protect your privacy, many insurers in 2026 are now legally allowed to move you into a high-risk tier by default. You aren't being fined by the police. You're being fined by your monthly premium for the crime of being private. This is the law most drivers are missing because it doesn't happen on the road. It happens in the cloud. Your own car is recording your every move, and that data is being used against you. And that brings us to law number 1, The biggest change in driving history. Law number 1, the federal kill switch and impairment mandate. This officially began its rollout in late 2025 and is now the law for every 2026 model year vehicle. Under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Section 24,220, all new cars must be equipped with advanced impaired driving prevention technology. While the media calls it a kill switch, the legal term is passive monitoring. This system uses internal sensors and cameras to monitor driver behavior, tracking eye movement for signs of fatigue and steering patterns for signs of intoxication. If the car's AI determines you are impaired, it won't just beep. It is designed to limit or prevent the operation of the vehicle. Furthermore, 2026 laws in states like California now allow law enforcement to remotely request a vehicle's shutdown if it is identified as part of a high-speed pursuit. The days of the outlaw driver are over. In 2026, the car is the authority. This technology is being sold as a safety measure to prevent drunk driving deaths. And on paper, that sounds great. But here's what nobody is talking about. These systems can produce false positives. If you're tired after a long day at work, if you're rubbing your eyes because of allergies, if you're swerving slightly to avoid a pothole, the AI might interpret that as impairment. And once the system engages, you're stuck. Your car won't move. You'll have to prove to the system or to a law enforcement officer that you're not impaired. The implications for personal freedom are staggering. This isn't a future problem. This is happening right now in every new car rolling off the assembly line. 2026 is the year driving stopped being a private right and started being a monitored privilege. From yellow light traps to internal kill switches, the system is now designed to be zero tolerance. So there you have it. 10 driving laws that just changed in 2026. Law number 3, the license plate tampering law, is the one causing the most trouble because people genuinely don't realize their clear plate cover or decorative frame is now illegal. These laws are active right now. They're being enforced today, and not knowing them won't protect you. Here's what you need to do immediately. First, remove anything from your license plate. No covers, no frames, nothing. Second, check your phone mount position and make sure it's in the lower right corner or on your dashboard. Third, make wipers equal headlights a permanent habit. Those 3 changes alone will save you from the most common violations. Fourth, check your car's privacy settings in the infotainment menu to see exactly what data your vehicle is sending to your insurer. Most people have no idea this menu even exists. Find it. Opt out of everything you legally can. Fifth, if you have anything hanging from your rearview mirror, take it off right now. Sixth, verify your insurance is active and set up automatic payments so you never risk a lapse. And finally, slow down in construction zones and always move over for vehicles on the shoulder. Look, these videos exist because drivers are being blindsided by laws they never heard of. The enforcement is aggressive, the fines are high, and the consequences go way beyond a ticket. We're talking about license suspensions, insurance denials, and even criminal records. You now know more than 95% of drivers on the road. Use that knowledge, make the changes today. And if this information helped you, hit that subscribe button right now because I track every law change, every enforcement update, every new fine structure so you don't have to. Don't be the driver who learns about these laws from the cop writing your ticket. Be the driver who's ahead of the game. Stay safe out there.